Hello students, today we'll talk about refraction of light. This comes under ray optics. So what we are studying in this, first refraction of light, laws of refraction, principle of reversibility of light, refraction through a parallel slab, refraction through a compound slab, apparent depth, TIR, total internal reflection, reflection at spherical surfaces, assumption and sign conventions, refraction at convex and concave surfaces, lens maker's formula, first and second principal focus, thin lens equation, and linear magnification. So first we should start with the refraction of light. What the refraction of light says, what? When a ray of light passes from one medium to another medium, it either bends towards the normal or away from the normal. It depends upon the viscosity of light. Clear? And this is also as because of speed of light, that's why refractive index of a medium, which is a light bending ability, is ratio of speed of light in air to the speed of light in medium. So as you can see that there is one slab we have shown here, which is made of glass. Air is rarer and glass slab is denser. It is bending, ray of light is bending towards a normal when it passes from rare to denser, and denser to rarer it is bending away from the normal. And what laws of refraction says? First law, that incident ray, refracted ray and the normal, they all lies on the same plane. Second, Snell's law. Snell's law says what? That refractive index of any medium is equal to ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle refraction, or it is also equal to the speed of light in medium, in air, to the speed of light in medium. Clear? Now if we see the in refraction, it is written the frequency and phase of light do not change during refraction. Clear? Only velocity and wavelength changes. So if we talk about the refractive index of air or vacuum, it is equal to 1. So if we talk about refractive index of air to medium, then is speed of light in air divided by speed of light in medium. And similarly, if we talk about refractive index from air to medium in terms of wavelength, then it is wavelength of air divided by wavelength of medium. Principle of reversibility of light says what? That if a ray of light is passing from one medium to another medium, and if we place any mirror in front of the refracted ray, then it will retrace its path back. Clear? So you can see that if refractive index of A to B is sine of I upon sine of R, then refractive index B to A will be sine of R upon sine of I. Refractive index of these two, we get the answer 1. So it is reciprocal. It is refractive index of one medium is reciprocal of another medium. Clear? Now we talk about refraction through a parallel slab. We can see there is one parallel slab here. A ray of light is passing like this. We have done this experiment in 10th also. Now if we talk about the incident ray and the emergent ray, if we extend the incident ray in the forward direction and the emergent ray is passing like this, so there is a parallel clear, which we can see like this. It is shown by value y, I1 by I1 and R1 is there, angle of incidence, angle of refraction, then angle of deviation, del is also there in front of us, and sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction from denser to rarer medium. So it is there in front of you. Refractive index of A to B, that is A to medium, that is our glass slab, is sine of I upon sine of R, whereas reciprocal of B to air is sine of I2 upon sine of R2. If we multiply them, then it is equal to 1. Why? Because sine of I1 and sine of I2 and sine of R1 by sine of R2. Actually sine of I1 is equal to sine of R2, because if the angles are same, only then these rays are going to be parallel. They will cancel out. Similarly, angle R1 and angle R2 is also same because they are alternate angles. That's why we are getting the answer 1. Lateral shift is what? Lateral shift is telling that y is equal to t sine del, where is angle of del is the angle of deviation divided by cos of angle of refraction. And if we talk about angle del, then angle del is I1 minus R1 divided by cos of R1. We have to learn this formula also. Now we move to the refraction through a compound slab. There is one compound slab which is containing different mediums. The ray of light is passing from rare to denser. It will bend towards the normal. Refractive index of all medium A to B, B to C and C to A again. If you multiply them, we get the answer 1. Clear? So we have refractive index A to B into refractive index of B to C, then it is equal to refractive index of A to C. Similarly for all we get the same. Now we talk about apparent depth of a liquid. Apparent depth we have seen in swimming pool also. Sometimes we predict the depth of the pool is very less, but actually it is very high. As we can see, there is a rarer and denser medium. There is one coin here, and you will see this coin not at this position where it is, but you will see this coin at the position which you find after refraction at point O dash. Actually the ray of light which is passing from O and going straight, if it angle of I1 is 0, then angle R1 is also 0. But if it is making an angle I1, then R1 angle should be there. We have extended the refracted ray in the backward direction, and the apparent image of the coin is at point O dash. Now you can see there is one height, apparent depth and real depth. Clear? Refractive index from B to A is sin of I upon sin of R, or we can write say that refractive index A to B is equal to sin of R upon sin of I, and we have refractive index A to B as HR upon HA, that is real depth by apparent depth. We have to learn this formula. Now apparent depth, if the number of immiscible liquids are there, then we have to use summation of I is equal to 1 to n HI by mu I. Apparent shift we talk about, then it is going to be HR minus HA. So HA is already your what? HR by mu, so we have replaced that one, and HR we will take common and we get the particular relation. Now in the tip 1 it is written, if the observer is in rarer medium and the object is in the denser medium, then HA is less than HR. To a bird the fish appears to be greater than the actual depth. Now if we talk about the reverse of the same, now to a fish the bird appears to be farther than actual height. Total internal reflection, actually in this what happens when ray of light passes from rarer to denser medium, denser to rarer medium, then it bends away from the normal, and if we increase the angle of incidence, angle of refraction will increase accordingly, and you can see that at this angle of incidence the ray of light is parallel to the slab. This is known as critical angle, and if we again increase the angle of incidence, then it will bend in the same medium. This is known as total internal reflection. The best example of this is mirage. Clear? Now it is the tips are what, that for the total internal reflection, the incident ray must be in optically denser medium, that should be passed from denser to rarer, and the angle of incidence should be greater than the critical angle of the medium. And what is the critical angle of the medium? Critical angle of the medium is that angle for which the angle of refraction in air is 90 degree. Relation between critical angle and refractive index is there. You can see refractive index from glass to air is sin of I upon sin of R. Sin I is written as critical angle IC. Angle of refraction will be 90 degree for the same. So mu glass to air will be sin of IC. So we can write that refractive index from air to glass is reciprocal of sin of critical angle. Now red color has maximum value of critical angle and violet color has minimum value of critical angle. Because if we go with the wavelength, then we are getting the relation that wavelength of glass divided by wavelength of medium. In the next we can see that the sin of IC is equal to 1 upon the reciprocal of air to glass refractive index, and we can write the formula A plus B lambda square. You have to learn this formula. Now application of TR is total reflection is mirage formation, looming we find during in a very cold region where the navy ships see another ship in the air, floating in the air. Total reflecting prisms, optical fibers, and sparkling of diamonds. Now we talk about these are the mediums. We have two type of spherical refracting surface. One is our convex, which is on the left hand side. Another is concave, which is on the right hand side. And this axis, which is dividing it into two parts, is the principal axis of this. And we can see the different portion of the same. That is, we can find the radius of curvature in both cases. Assumption. If we talk about now, sign convention says what, that we have to move away from the pole or the optical center. Second, if we do so while moving away from the pole or optical center, if we are moving in the direction of incident ray, then that particular value should be positive, and otherwise it should be negative. Anything above the principal axis is positive, another thing below the principal axis is negative. Now you can see that there is object, ray of light is passing in the medium from ray to denser. Formation of image is at I. But if we talk about angle I and angle R, then angle I and angle R is there. You can see that light is bent towards the normal. Alpha beta we have already chosen, and if we are going to take it then fixed. At O angle we have taken alpha, and at I we have taken angle beta, and with C we will make angle gamma. PCs are U and B is also fixed. Now if we talk about angle triangle OAC, then angle I is equal to alpha plus gamma, because it is sum of two opposite interior angles. Similarly, gamma is equal to R plus beta, so R is equal to gamma minus beta. So we can write tan alpha as MA upon MO. If the angles are taken to be very small, then alpha is equal to MA by MO. Then we can write tan beta also in the same form and tan gamma also in the same form. So Snell's law says what? Sin of I upon sin of R is equal to mu2 upon mu1. Or we can write, if the angles are very small, as I by R is equal to mu2 by mu1. So we have relation mu1 I is equal to mu2 R. Now what we do, we will just substitute the value of I, R, alpha and beta in all, and we are getting this result actually. And when we prove out the sign conventions of PA is equal to minus UI, minus U, PI is V and PC is R, so we get the following relation. When the refraction of light is from rare to denser, it is minus of mu1 by U plus mu2 by V is equal to mu2 minus mu1 by R. Now similarly, for the refraction from rare medium to denser medium, we get the image outside. You can see that, and again the formula is same what we have derived earlier. Now if you talk about concave surface, we will use the same sign convention, alpha, beta and gamma. We will replace them, and we get a relation. If we derive it, minus of mu1 by U plus mu2 by V is equal to mu2 minus mu1 by R. Now we talk about refraction at convex surfaces. Then from denser to rare medium, we have real image, and we get the value minus of mu2 by U plus mu1 by V is equal to mu1 minus mu2 by R. Now we have to learn this. Whenever there is reflection from rare medium, then it is minus of mu1 by U plus mu2 by V is equal to mu2 minus mu1 by R, and for object is in denser medium, then it will be minus of mu2 by U plus mu1 V is equal to 1 upon R mu1 minus mu2. Now lens maker formula we have in front of you. This is our lens. You can see that the lens is there in front of us. C1 and C2 is there. So the reflection takes place from O and the formation of image at I1. But actually this uniformity is not there in the whole surface. The formation of image is at basically I. We are using for the surface LP1N, that the reflection is from rare to denser. We have mu1 by Cu plus mu2 by Ci1 is equal to mu2 minus mu1 Cc1. Now for refraction at LP2N2, we have this refraction from denser to rarer. We will apply the formula from denser to rarer, and we get this kind of equation. How we are getting this? We add the both equations from rare to denser as well as denser to rarer, And now we will put a sign convention and we get the final formula, Flange-Munger formula as 1 upon V minus 1 upon U is equal to mu 2 minus mu 1 by mu 1, 1 upon R1 minus 1 upon R2. Now we can write that in this format of formation also. So what we get, 1 upon F is equal to V minus 1, 1 upon R1 minus 1 upon R2, and this is our Lenz-Meeker formula. So students, we are dealing with the ray optics right now. So please again go through the PPT and do the revision accordingly. Thank you, students.